How to make your car go faster. You see, we live in a time where we believe that to make our car go faster, we just have to increase the engine horsepower, which is true to some extent. When you increase the engine horsepower, the car is going to go faster, but it's going to do so inefficiently. It's going to go faster, but with a high likelihood of something breaking whenever you push the car to the limits. But what if I tell you that there is a way to make your car go faster without necessarily increasing the horsepower, without even touching the engine? Yes, and that's what we're going to be discussing in today's video. But before we get started, I am Meno and this is my YouTube channel, and in this channel we talk cars, not things related to cars. So if you're interested, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, watch the video to the end, and if you like it, give the video a thumbs up. And with that said, thank you for tuning in, and let's get the video started. When we talk about going fast, I don't only mean going fast in a straight line, but also going fast around corners. We're talking track performance and straight line performance as well. And to make our car go faster, there are a series of upgrades, modifications, and changes we are going to be doing to the car to make it go faster. And starting off with one of the most important ones, suspension. A lot of people do not comprehend how much suspension impacts performance. It's one of those elements that at the end can either make or break a project. So being on the right setup of suspension is always key. And some might be asking, what type of suspension should we go for? Well, to keep it simple, you have to go with a stiffer suspension and you have to go lower. Why should we go lower? Well, that is to lower the center of gravity and also to increase stability. And why should we go for a stiffer suspension? Well, let me explain something a little bit. So when you launch a car forward on a drag strip or you turn left on a track, the body always rolls to the opposite direction. When you launch a car forward, the body rolls backwards. When you turn right, the body always goes to the left. It always goes to the opposite direction. And that's what we call weight transfer or energy transfer. So when you have like a soft suspension or maybe an average suspension, what it does is that instead of transferring most of those energy, most of those weight into forcing the tires into the ground, it just absorbs all of them. It just absorbs all of that energy, and that's going to lead to excess body roll, poor handling, lack of confidence, and slower lap times. And on drag strip, it's going to lead to excess body rolls and excess wheel spin. So that's what you don't need. So you need a stiffer suspension that is going to transfer most of those energy into forcing the wheels into the ground to give you better grip and traction and to reduce body rolls on track. And by suspension upgrade alone, you can gain anywhere from half a second to 1 second improvement on drag times and anywhere from 1 second to over 3 second improvement on track performance. But that's also depending on the layout and the length of the track. So being on a steep suspension is always a must. Next up, we have weight reduction. So this one is pretty self-explanatory. The lighter, the better. For example, someone who's running, the faster the person gets, the slower the person goes, and the lighter the person gets, the faster they would go. So some might be asking, what should we remove from our car? Well, there are gadgets, features, and systems in the car that you don't use on a year-to-year basis. They are broken or it's not a must-have for the car to run. Those are the stuff you should remove. Like for example, the stereos, the speakers, the rear seats, the spare tires, tool kits, spanners, AC. Like it all depends on how much you're willing to sacrifice. And if you have some cars laying around, there are stuff in the car that you need to replace with much lighter ones. For example, the seats, you need to replace them with much lighter bucket seats. The steel rims, you need to replace them with maybe forged aluminum wheels or maybe carbon fiber wheels. The big exhaust, you're going to replace them with much lighter ones. The steel body panels, you need to replace them with aluminum ones or carbon fiber ones. The interior trims like the steering wheel, dashboard, center console, etc., you need to replace them with much lighter ones. It all depends on how much you're willing to spend though. And by doing this alone, by weight reduction alone, it's estimated that you gain around 1/10 of a second per 100 pounds or 45 kilograms you take off from the car, which might not sound like a lot, but that has to do with straight line acceleration, because when it comes to track performance, the results are a lot bigger, especially in this regard, weight reduction, which is really, really important for track performance. And it also depends on the part weight ratio of the car, but ultimately it depends on how much you're willing to save and how much you're willing to sacrifice. If performance is all you think about, is all you want, well, feel free to go crazy. But if you still want to use the car as a daily driver, to commute, to take people around in your neighborhood, well, there are systems and gadgets in the car that you might want to consider saving. But remember, the lighter, the better. I know, if you are this far, well, the car is not going to be the only thing needed with reduction. So, just saying. Next up, we have tires. You see, this one is one of the most important elements for performance, but so many people underrate it so much. And I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those people before. My mentality before was like, so long you have a tire on, that should get the job done, right? that's not entirely the case. Like everything changed when I started watching Formula One. That's why if you are a car guy, I highly recommend you start watching motorsport. It doesn't matter which one it is, be it Formula One, IndyCar, NASCAR, Le Mans, which like pick one and start watching, because I promise you, you are not going to view cars the same way. You are going to view cars from a different perspective. Everything changed for me when I started watching Formula One. That's when I realized the significance of tires. Like you can literally watch the fastest car on the grid turn to the fifth fastest, if not slower, just because they are on a slower tire. Yes. So it's not all about how powerful your engine is, how fast your car is, how good the aerodynamics is. The tire you have on your car also matters a lot. And some people might be asking, what tire should we use? Well, it's literally impossible to get Formula One grade tires, but there are so many great performance tires out there that are available for sale, like the Pirelli P0 tires, the Michelin Pilot Sport tires, the Bridgestone Potenza tires, the Yokohama Advanced Sport tires. There are so many of them out there that you can buy that offer good grip and traction for better acceleration and deceleration across different weathers. And one aspect of tires I want you to bear in mind as well is the temperature, the tire temperature. So if the tire is cold, it's not going to give you the best grip. And if it's like melting hot, it's not going to give you the best grip at all. So it has to be in this perfect window, which is really, really light. So you don't have to be worried. So you just have to get the tires warmed up to stick to the ground better. So that's why they do warm up lap before they do flying laps. And that's why people do burnouts before they go drag racing. So being on the right setup of tires matters a lot. And also the tire temperature also matters as well. Next up, we have brakes. So this might not necessarily be important for like straight line acceleration, but still you need good brakes. But when it comes to track performance, you need good brakes to save your life. Like because on track, half the time you're accelerating and half the time you're braking. So being on a proper setup of brake matters, like it's a must, because believe you me, there are brakes out there that is either they're not stopping you well enough or they're locking up. There is no in between. And there are some that are like easy, like so easy to lock up. They're just making it so easily. And there are some that do not, that like does not give you like the feel for grip. Like you don't, they are so soft that you don't know when you're braking too much or when you're not braking hard enough. And there are some that just overheat for no reason, like one flying lap and they're like melting hot, like smoking red hot. So those are the brakes you do not want. So you want a brake that's going to stop you very fast, very smoothly, and would last a very long time. There are so many affordable performance brakes out there that you can buy, and your current brakes can still get the job done, like can still do the job if you're satisfied with it. But for those who want more braking power, more braking force, well, there are so many affordable performance brakes out there that you can upgrade to, like the EBC brakes, the Mentex, the Revo, the Bosch, the Brembo, the Akemono, and there are so many out there that you can upgrade to. So performance brakes, like, is just better. They dissipate heat better, they stop you quicker, more smoothly, and they last a lot longer. So brakes matters a lot. Next up, we have weight distribution. And this one is really important, but people do not talk about it as much. But it has a lot to do with stability, balance, and most importantly, driver's confidence. So weight distribution is like the percentage of weight allocated to different areas of a car. For example, some cars have 50-50 weight distribution, which means that 50% of the weight is at the front and the rest 50 is at the back. And there are pros and cons of having like more weight at the front or at the rear. But ideally, you need to concentrate most of the weight at the center of the car. That's why most high performance cars are mid-engine. But if that's not the case with your car, you should try as much as possible to balance the weight between the front and the rear axle, to balance the reaction of the car when you turn left, right, accelerate or decelerate. Because let's say, for example, you're on a track with your car and the car has more weight at the front, and let's say it's front wheel driven as well, of course it's going to like be better for acceleration. But under braking, the front is going to become really loaded and heavy to turn, which is going to lead to a lot of understeers. And on the other hand, if you have more weight at the back and the car is also rear wheel driven, of course it's going to like be better for acceleration. But the front is going to become so light and easy to turn that it turns very swiftly, which is going to swing the rear a lot, which is going to lead to a lot of oversteers. And sometimes the cars act so differently, like acts differently every single time at the same corner, which is going to lead to lack of confidence and fear, because you do not know how the car is going to react every single time if you just throw it into a corner. So ideally, you need to concentrate all the weight at the center, or at least if the car is front wheel driven, try as much as possible to balance the weight between the front and the rear axle, or at least have a little bit more weight on the front axle. And if the car is rear wheel driven, try to do the same as well to balance the weight between the two axles, or at least have a little bit more weight on the rear axle. And all of this is to like improve the reaction condition of the car, the acceleration, the deceleration, importantly, the driver confidence, and most importantly, the overall performance, both in straight line acceleration and in track performance. And lastly, we have driver mode. Of course, the car is not going to be the only thing needing improvement. You yourself as a driver, you need to up your own driving skills. We are talking anywhere from your reaction time, which is going to help you a lot in drag racing and also on track, your cornering ability, your braking ability, your confidence in the car, and your overall driving skill. Everything needs to improve. And by doing all of this, I guarantee you for a fact a massive improvement in straight line performance and even more massive improvement in track performance. I cannot give you like a specific number, but I guarantee it. And another good part about all of this is that whenever you then decide to like increase the horsepower of your engine, you're not going to be needing as much as you would need if you didn't have all these upgrades done. Like for example, if you needed like 500 horsepower when you didn't have all these upgrades, after the upgrades you just need about 200 or 300 horsepower more to get the same performance, if not more. And one good part about all of this as well is that you're going to be going fast really efficiently. And with that, I've come to the end of the video, guys. Let me know what you think about the video, and let me know if there's any like features or maybe any element to go fast that I didn't include in this video. And let me know what you think about the video in the comments down below. And with that, we've come to the end of the video, guys. So if you like the video, please go ahead and give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you like the video, and share the video with your friends and family if you think they're going to like it. And with that said, thank you for tuning in and thank you for watching, and I am sure to see you in the next one. Peace out and stay safe.